Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a new client makeup tutorial. So right now it's really cold in the Chicagoland area, so I'm using this Pixi Glow Tonic to exfoliate her skin to just remove any dry skin that she may have on her face. And then I'm also moisturizing it with the Pixi Rose Flash Balm just to give her a little bit of hydration as well. For her brows, I'm going to be going in with my CoverGirl brow pencil in the shade Soft Brown. Next, I'm going in with my NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Chocolate, and I brought this one in because I really like the color of it and I felt like it would give her brows more of a finished look that I was going for. It just helped them look a little bit more full, and again, the color was better in my opinion. And I am using the spoolie of that brow pencil to help push the product through. And then for a little bit more color and just to help lay the hairs down, I am going in with my MAC brow gel in the shade Toasted Blonde and working that through her brow hairs. To clean her brows, I'm using my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Ivory, and I'm using my RK Kiss flat concealer brush to do this. I do like to go in with foundation that's closer to my client's skin tone rather than using the same concealer that I used to carve out the brow, because it just takes out work. Of course you can carve out the top of the brow with the concealer if that's what you have, but it honestly creates more work because you're gonna have to go in later to cover up that lighter concealer. So I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And of course I'm using that spoolie to help just soften the edges at the beginning of her brow, so it has this sort of gradient effect on the brow. To set that concealer in her lids, I'm going to go in with my Color DuJour No More Shine translucent powder, and this is just going to lock everything into place to prep us for our eyeshadows. The first shadow I'm going in with is Soft Brown by MAC, and I'm going to be applying this as a transition shade. And I'm doing circular windshield wiper motions here to just really get that product off of the brush and to help really make it nice and blended and diffused. I'm going in with my Stila eyeshadow in the shade Light Show. So at this point in time, we decided that we were going to do a really blue eye, glitter eye at that, and I knew that laying this down as her transition shade on top of that MAC Soft Brown would really help set the tone for the rest of this eye because it's going to get really blue. Now I'm taking my Sigma Dare palette and I'm taking the shade Shout, and I'm also blending that like right above the transition shade as well. And once that's done, I'm going back in with my Stila eyeshadow in the shade Light Show, and I am focusing that on the crease of her eye. So to diffuse some of the shadow that's in her crease, I am going in with the clean blending brush and blending everything out. I am now picking up my Anastasia Beverly Hills Self-Made palette, and I'm going in with the shade Isla. I think that's how it's pronounced, but I'm applying a little bit of that as her transition shade. And then I'm going in with my Smashbox Full Exposure palette, and I'm picking up some of that black eyeshadow, and I'm going to concentrate it into her crease because I do want to create more depth. And I am diffusing this out as well with the clean blending brush. Whenever I'm doing really dramatic eye looks like this, I always keep several blending brushes on me because these looks require so much blending and so much diffusing. So to intensify this look even more, I'm going in with my Urban Decay eyeliner in the shade Perversion. This is literally one of the darkest eyeliners that you will find on the market. And right after that, I'm going back in with that black eyeshadow right on top of it, and as you can see, it's intensifying it so much more, which is exactly what I wanted. And of course, I'm whipping back out my clean blending brush to diffuse this shadow as well. Now that I have her crease all blended out, I am going to start cutting the crease. And to do this, I'm going in with my MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NC15. And I am using my RK Kiss flat brush. It's their flat concealer brush. I did spray my brush with some Fix Plus. In my last video, I forgot to address why I do this. So I always spray my brushes. So in this case, I sprayed it beforehand because it just helps the product spread out easier. If you go in with a thick product like this with a dry brush, it's going to be a little harder to work with, so just spraying it beforehand makes it easier. And then I do like to spray my brushes beforehand sometimes with eyeshadow because it just helps the eyeshadow pop and become more vibrant. So with all that being said, it never hurts to spray your brushes beforehand. Now that I've gotten her crease beautifully carved out, I'm going in with my NYX Cosmetics pigment in the shade Turquoise, and I am using my Japanesque eyeshadow brush to pack this eyeshadow on. So to get in those harder to reach areas, I'm taking this really small liner brush, and this came in the Urban Decay Electric palette, I want to say. But it's super handy for jobs like this if you're doing a cut crease. You need to get in those hard to reach areas, it's perfect for that. So once that's done, I am going back in with a liner brush with some black eyeshadow on it, and I'm just lining that crease and kind of diffusing it out as well. You just want to make sure that this crease stays as defined and intense as possible. Now for the fun part, we're going to start getting ready to put this glitter down. So I am going to go in with my Duo Lash Glue. This is the brush on kind. As you can see, it's just helping me get all in the crevices, and now I'm able to lay that glitter down with ease. And the glitter that I'm using is actually this teal glitter that I got years ago from Hobby Lobby. It's like this stackable glitter, and it's completely eye safe. Like, it's not the kind of glitter that where if it gets in your eye it's gonna like cut your eye, or like, you know, it's not that kind of glitter. I've gotten this glitter in my eye before over the years. It's completely fine, and I would never use anything dangerous like that on my clients if I knew that it would harm them potentially. So I do want to make mention that the only reason why I'm using the glue applicator directly on her eyelid is because I knew at the time that I was going to throw this out. As you can see, it's like super old and busted, so it was going in the garbage, so I didn't mind. However, how I typically use it is I will pour the glue directly out of the container onto a clean surface and pick it up with a flat concealer brush and then apply it to the lid. That's the best way to do it, you guys. If you're a working makeup artist, you always want to make sure you're staying as sanitary as possible. To line her eyelids, I am using my NYC liquid liner. Now again, just for sanitary purposes, you guys, you always want to make sure you're never using the applicator directly on your client's lids unless it's your client's personal eyeliner or it's an eyeliner that you know that you're about to throw out and it's not going to be used on anyone else. So now that the lids are completed, I'm using one of my Neutrogena makeup remover wipes to remove this glitter and fallout from her face. I always use the original ones. Those are my favorite. They come in the baby blue pack. Because we just used those wipes on her face, I am going back in with the Becca Mattifying primer so that her skin has some sort of base on it before we start laying down these face products. For foundation, I'm going in with CoverGirl Matte Made Foundation in the shade L30, which is light 30. I chose this one because I knew it would be this sort of medium to buildable full coverage, which is what she needs because she does have some red spots on her face, and typically I would color correct those, but honestly, we were in a bit of a time crunch because she had a nail appointment, so just to help speed things up a little bit, I chose to go in with this fuller coverage foundation. So I do know that her foundation is looking a bit on the lighter side, but I knew that it would help with the redness in her skin, which is why directly after this, I'm going in with my MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation in the shade NC37, and I'm literally just taking my beauty blender and stippling that into her skin. And as you can see, it's bringing color back into her skin as well as providing a little bit more coverage. And I do take my time on the skin. Skin is one thing that I'm sure to not rush, and I always encourage my fellow makeup artists to take your time with the skin. It's really going to just help ensure that you have this smooth, even coverage. There's no streakiness. Trust me, your clients will appreciate you for it in the end because they will look flawless. So please do not rush the skin. Take your time. Take as much time as you need to make sure it looks perfect. To get started on the concealer, I'm going in with my NYX HD concealer in the shade 04. And I hate to keep repeating myself, but if you have a wand applicator like this, you should not be using it directly on your client's face. The only reason why I was using it directly on her is because I knew I was getting rid of it after this. I was like scraping this thing, and it was like a week before New Year's Eve, and I had a ton of clients that weekend, so I knew I was just cleaning house at that point. And I knew it wouldn't be used on any other client. So if you are not cleaning house, and this is something that is regularly in your kit, you want to make sure you are taking that wand and you are rubbing the product off on the back of your hand and then distributing it to your client's face, just to be sanitary. To bring a little bit more lightness underneath her eye, I'm going in with the mixture of my MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NC15 mixed with my NYX HD Concealer in 02. And I do find that bouncing the beauty blender onto the skin, which is just called stippling, is the best technique for me. It really just does the work for you. And to bring some warmth back to her skin, I'm going to be going in with my Sleek Makeup Contour Kit in the shade Dark. And I'm taking that top right shade in the kit to help warm up her skin. And to do this, I'm just using my flat concealer brush by Color DuJour and my stippling brush by e.l.f., which is $3. I do love this product because it is buildable. So you can build it up to the amount of coverage and as deep as you want it to be. So I love that about it. contour the nose, I just squeeze the bristles of that small stippling brush together and work it down the sides of the nose to create the illusion that the nose is slimmer than what it actually is. Now that the contour is applied, I am having my client look up towards the ceiling so I can apply this translucent powder underneath her eyes and the rest of the areas of her face as well, to just kind of help lock everything into place. And this is my Color Du Jour No More Shine powder, and this brush that I'm using is a Real Techniques brush. After a couple minutes, once I feel like it's set long enough, I do go in with my Color Du Jour number 20 tapered brush to just dust away that baking powder. And right after, I go in with my Midnight Banana powder in a beauty blender to help set that highlight again. And this is just going to help bring a little bit of color and again help lock everything into place. While that banana powder is baking, I'm going to go in with my BH Cosmetics Pro Studio powder in the shade number 235, and I am applying this with my Sephora number 55 Pro Airbrush. And I'm going to go back in with my Color Du Jour number 20 tapered brush to dust away that powder underneath the eyes, and then finish applying the foundation with my Sephora number 55 brush as normal. To line her lips, I'm going in with this brown lip liner that I picked up from my local beauty supply store. Unfortunately, I don't have the name for it because the name went away when I tore off the wrapper to open the lip liner. But yeah, it's just a basic brown. For her lashes, I'm going in with these faux mink lashes that I picked up from my local beauty supply store. I'm going to insert a picture of them so you guys can see them, but once I put the falsie on, I do go in with my tweezers to just help separate her real lashes from the falsies. For her lips, I'm going to go in with my Gerard Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Kimchi Doll. I'm going to apply that all over. And I am using my Color Du Jour lip brush to apply this. For a little bit of added gloss, I am going in with my Minted Cosmetics gloss in the shade Pink About Me. This is one of my favorite glosses. And then after that, I'm going to take my MAC Luster Glass in the shade Morning Glory and really focus that more so in the center of her lips. For eyeliner, I'm going in with my Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner because it's so dark and it's very easy to just smudge out. And I am using my Sephora smudge brush to do this. To help set this liner, I'm going to go in with my Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette in the shade OUD and apply that directly on top, still using my smudge brush from Sephora. For this is cute and all, but I felt like because she had so much blue going on at the top of her eye, she needed some under her lower lash line as well, just to help balance everything out. So I'm applying the shade Fringe from my Urban Decay Electric palette. And I'm wiping away any fallout with my Color Du Jour number 20 tapered brush. Now to brighten her tear ducts, I'm using this really old white shimmery eyeshadow from Victoria's Secret. I know, super old. For mascara, I'm going in with my Maybelline Great Lash Mascara, and I am using a disposable spoolie to do this. And for final touch-ups before we finish, I am just going in with my Color Du Jour number 20 tapered brush to apply outer foundation. And because my client is oily, I am going to finish her off with the Urban Decay De-Slick Oil Control Makeup Setting Spray. And that is it, you guys, for the completed look. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you guys in my next video. And I'll also insert some photos as well because flash photography does not lie. So get into it. Bye!